Exposing the haunted rules, unveiling 13 sinister secrets of a cursed paranormal division. In the suburban sprawl of Maplewood, whispers chased shadows down the street. The neighborhood wasn't just quaint, it was laden with dread. Lisa had always brushed it off as mere local folklore ghost stories spun around the bonfire. Little did she know, those tales were rooted in the crumbling edifice just beyond the trees, the fabled paranormal division, a place where families sought solace but instead found their lives unraveling in darkness. Lisa juggled 2 jobs, her body and mind weary. But nothing prepared her for her 5-year-old son, Evan, to come home with tales of a friend who visited only at night. "He is so cool, Mommy," Evan exclaimed with wide eyes, the innocence of his voice chilling her to the bone. Who was this friend, this shadow that danced in the corners of his imagination? She forced a laugh, attributing it all to the vibrant mind of a child until the nights turned ominous, the neighborhood shifted, laughter faded into frantic whispers. Once helpful neighbors braced their doors as they locked eyes with her. She heard snippets of conversation. "You heard what happened to the Harrisons?" The air grew thick with paranoia, suffocating. Was she overreacting? Maybe. But as Evan spun elaborate tales of nighttime escapades with the shadow friend, Lisa felt her own unease fortify into something tangible. The first sign of true tension. The power's flickered light surfaced when whimpers occasionally broke through her son's room. They weren't just rough edges of a nightmare. There was something more. Her heart raced as chills crept along her spine. One evening, she overheard a neighbor mutter, "They never came back." The words snaked through her like ice water. Faded voices from the haunted division echoed through her mind, threading together a sinister history of broken families and lost hope. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. One night, the world boiled down to a deathly stillness. Evan requested to play outside. She watched him bound through the back door, the moonlight drenching everything in an ethereal glow. But when a silence settled too heavy for comfort, dread took root in her chest. She called, "Evan." Nothing but the rustle of leaves answered. Panic ignited her every nerve as she bolted out the door, darkness swirling around her like fog, claustrophobic. It felt as if eyes were on her watching, waiting. "Evan!" She screamed, the sound slipping into the shadows. The near-empty night echoed back, taunting her as if hiding secrets just beyond her reach. Her heart pounded as she trailed toward the division's silhouette looming in the distance. Fumbling in a clenching grip of terror, she remembered the division's nightmare history where families went missing, swallowed whole by the very mystery she hoped would spare her. In that gripping moment, she realized with horror, she wasn't just searching for Evan, she was unraveling the threads of her life, catching glimpses of a sinistrous truth buried beneath Maplewood's facade. What dark legacy had she unwittingly strayed into? And as if mocking her desperation, a child's laughter echoed all around, familiar and unsettling, a sound that belonged to her son, drawing her deeper into the encroaching gloom of the division's haunted past. The shadows thickened around Lisa as she stumbled forward, fear clawing at her throat. Every nerve in her body screamed for her to turn back, but the laughter beckoned her like a siren song. It echoed again, this time bouncing off the walls of the haunted division as if it were a sinister game, inviting her deeper into its twisted maw. "Mommy!" Evan's voice rang out, piercing the suffocating black. It felt close, too close, but not visible. It darted around her like a phantom, sending chills skittering down her spine. The darkness was alive, pulsating with a malicious energy that seemed to feed off her terror. She stumbled toward the building, instinct overtaking reason. The stench of decay wafted from its crumbling facade, an invisible hand pushing her back. Yet her legs moved forward, through brush and thick undergrowth, driven by desperation. "Evan!" She called again, her voice cracking and faltering. As she approached the rotting doorway, a gust of wind howled, scraping against the old wood. The door creaked open unnaturally, revealing an interior cloaked in shadows, an abyss swallowing her hope. It was worse than she had imagined, smells of mildew clashing with a sense of unreal calm. This place too quiet, too still. Her heart drummed a frantic beat, reverberating against the eerie silence. Just inside, remnants of lives lost behuddled her view. Old photos scattered on the floor, their faces peeling under age, capturing fleeting moments of happiness. A child, an adult, all smiling, and yet within those smiles, she could sense an ominous resonance. Who were these people? What had happened here? A shiver passed through her, and an impulse and urgent need to find Evan pushed her onwards through the dark hallway. Creaks and groans of the building flooded her ears, sending ripples of panic through her. Was it the house mourning, or something more than that? Suddenly, from the darkness ahead, a door swung open. A soft light spilled out, illuminating the dust motes dancing through the air. "Mommy! In here!" Evan's voice. Relieved yet filled with dread, she rushed toward it, throwing the door wide open. The room was stark. A single bulb flickered above, revealing her son standing amidst a circle of old toys. A thick, opaque book laid open in front of him. The pages wriggled, words rearranging as she approached, but the room felt off. Evan was smiling, yet his eyes empty, staring into nothing. Sent a fresh wave of ice cascading down her spine. "Evan, let us go," she urged, reaching for him. But he stood rooted, eyes locked onto the book. "He says the night is just starting, Mommy." In that moment, Lisa felt a surge of dread, realizing her son wasn't talking about playful make-believe. Who was he speaking to? She glanced around nervously, expecting something to emerge, to reach out and drag her down into this horror-laden world. An unseen hand gripped her heart as an eerie, chuckling sound echoed, low and reverberating. "Stay with him," the whisper wound through the air, chilling her. "Or join those who never left." With each word, the shadows moved, as if they had a life of their own, closing in, pressing against her. Lisa's blood ran cold. She was trapped, caught in the web of a dark legacy that didn't just tie itself to her, it wanted her. Terror coursed through her veins. Heart pounding, she pulled Evan toward her, grasping his small arm. "We're leaving," she screamed, dragging him back as the laughter twisted into screeches, clawing at her resolve. As they stumbled backward into the dark hallway, the room's light flickered and off, plunging everything into overwhelming blackness. The laughter returned, stronger, more malicious. Was it the building? Or had Evan's friend truly come alive? "Mommy?" Evan's voice broke through the dark, filled with innocence still, but layered with an unnatural echo, as if someone else were using his mouth. The shadows danced around her now, swirling and thickening. How many more voices lurked within this haunted division? Did she have the strength to uncover their sinister history, or would she become just another whisper among the lost, forever trapped in the darkness? The choice loomed before her, and in that heartbeat, Lisa realized with gut-wrenching certainty, stepping further into that cursed division could lead them out, or seal their fate forever. What lay beyond the darkness? And could they escape the hold of the shadowed past before it devoured them whole? Every heartbeat echoed in Lisa's ears, drowning out the insidious whispers that prowled the edges of her sanity. The darkness felt like a living thing, suffocating and indulgent. She could barely see a hand in front of her face as she gripped Evan's arm, determination battling her rising panic. "We need to go." The corridor loomed ahead, a gaping maw of murky shadows, almost pulsating with malice. Evan shifted beside her, an eerie calmness wrapping around him like a shroud. She could feel him slipping, his grip lessening. "Mommy, I can't," he murmured. "Evan, please," she urged, panic making her voice tremble. She tugged again, the weakness in her son's resistance a sharp knife in her gut. But he wouldn't budge. A glimmer of light danced near the end of the corridor, a beacon amidst the darkness. "Come." It was a soft, imperceptible call. Not from Evan. Another voice. Mommy. Evan's head turned toward the light, drawn like a moth to a flame. It wants to play just like I do. No. Lisa shouted as she pulled him close, desperation clawing at her throat. We can't stay here. But the grip of whatever was luring them deepened. The air felt heavier, wrapping around them like a serpent. Shadows elongated, twisting into grotesque shapes. Visions of faces floated at the edges of her sight, blinking in and out, reminiscent of those photos she'd seen scattered on the floor. Who were they? The flickering light flicked again, freezing her in place. There, in its glow, stood a figure hunched over, wrapped in tattered clothes, its face swathed in shadow. The unsettling lullaby of laughter twinkled in the air again, sending chills racing down her spine. Stay with him, it crooned. You can be with us, too. Her instincts roared to flee, to escape that ghastly lure. She spun, preparing to head down the opposite way, but the shadow swarmed in front of her, thickening and shimmering like smoke. Mommy? Evan's voice quavered, still eager, still trapped. Why don't you want to play? Fear gripped Lisa tighter than the shadows themselves. Evan, listen to me. She screamed. It's not safe. We have to get out. But her words felt hollow, fading into the oppressive silence that enveloped them. The laughter twisted again into something chilling, melding into a cacophony of whispers. Hissing secrets surrounded her, chanted in an ancient, forgotten language. Lisa felt the walls shift, closing in like a terrible embrace. What was in those whispers? What had happened to those lost souls? The walls seemed to pulse, alive with bleak energies that wanted all of them. She could sense it beneath her skin. Mommy? This time, Evan's voice was pleading, thick with sorrow. She glanced down, and for one agonizing moment, she saw something flicker in his gaze, a shadow untainted by childhood. I don't want to lose you, the shadows hissed, echoing that phrase, a dissonant chorus that sent her heart into a frenzy. Evan. Please, just stay. His grip slackened. The light behind him beckoned, cold and merciless. No. In a final surge of adrenaline, Lisa lunged, pulling him fiercely against her. We're leaving. The darkness shrieked, the twisted figure stepped closer, melding into the shadows, exposing the eyes that were hollow voids. You choose, young one. Let her go, and join the game. Lisa's breath snagged in her throat as she felt the pull in Evan's hand weaken. Panic clawed at her mind, sharp as glass. She couldn't let him go no matter what it cost her. The shadows roared around them, twisting closer, threatening to drag them into the very depths of despair. What will you choose? The question resonated, vibrating through her bones. She faced the suffocating shadows again, clutching Evan with every ounce of strength. Could she fight against the darkness that promised to claim them both? The stakes had never felt so high, and the path to safety seemed to unravel around her. With Evan's small form trembling in her arms, she made her choice. But would it be enough to push through the suffocating grip of the past? A cold, anxious dread settled in her stomach, knowing that the true horror awaited them just beyond the darkness. In that moment, she realized the shadows were watching, waiting for the moment of surrender. Could they outsmart the thing lurking just beyond that veil, or was the night truly only just beginning? The shadows shrieked, a cacophony of tortured howls that pierced the suffocating silence like shards of glass. Lisa tightened her grip on Evan, heart pounding, each beat ringing loud in the deafening chaos. I want to let you take him. She cried out, voice breaking, raw determination rising from the depths of her despair. The figure before them loomed larger, undulating like smoke come to life. A chilling laugh echoed, bouncing off the cold walls, distorting into a horrible melody that clawed at her very soul. It's already begun, young mother. The choice was made long before you entered, it taunted, voice dripping with malice. No. Lisa shouted, fighting against the pull of the shadows. Evan's eyes, wide and unseeing, flickered in the dim light, as though he was caught in a trance, a marionette dancing on strings woven from despair. Remember who you are, Evan. I'm your mother, and I love you. But the shadows whispered sweet nothings meant to ensnare them, promises coated in deceit. Laughter mixed with the whispers, surrounding them in a swirling storm of dread. Shadows unfurled and thickened, transforming into gnashing teeth and gaping mouths, eager to consume. She felt a cold grip around her wrist, a phantom caress that sent shivers down her spine. Evan's head tilted slightly, as if the darkness was stroking his thoughts. "Mommy, it's fun here. I want to play." The innocent plea was a death knell, a dagger to her heart. Laughter bubbled from the depths of the shadows, triumph etched into every echo. "No." With every shred of willpower, Lisa pulled him closer. "You don't understand. It's a trick." Yet as she gazed into her son's eyes, she felt herself slipping, her resolution faltering. A chaos of memories cascaded in her mind: laughter in the park, bedtime stories, warm hugs that chased away the monsters beneath the bed. Would he even remember those moments, or would the darkness claim every precious fragment? "Join us, little one," the figure crooned, advancing, its hands curling around nothing, hungry for their essence. "You can be one of us. Play forever." Lisa felt an urge to flee, to run from the darkness and its intoxicating promises. Evoking every memory, every sweet moment, she shouted, "Evan, remember the purple butterflies, the ice cream truck. Remember your friends. We have to go." She squeezed his hand tighter, desperation sharpening her voice to a razor's edge. His gaze flickered, confusion battling against the call of the shadows. The figure hesitated, lips curling into a grimace as if it had been struck. "You're fighting a losing battle," it hissed. "Let him go and follow your fate." Lisa's heart raced. What would she do? The air weighed heavily on her chest, she could almost feel the shadows closing in, wrapping her and Evan in a suffocating embrace of despair. "I'm not losing you to this." Each word became a vow, a lifeline. "We can beat this. We have to trust each other, Evan." Slowly, the light behind them flickered, a pulsing beacon amidst the suffocating darkness. Could it be a way out? A shred of hope in a sea of doom? "Mommy?" Evan blinked, eyes darting, wavering for just a moment. "I don't want to play anymore." The shadows recoiled slightly, frustration ricocheting around them. It was their chance, a tiny opening amidst the chaos. "Then come to me," Lisa shouted, urging him forward. But the figure, furious now, lunged forward, shadows thrashing wildly. "You will not take him. He belongs with us." With a deep, trembling breath, Lisa surged through the darkness, pulling Evan with all her strength, adrenaline coursing through her veins like fire. They could not give in. Not now. The figure's howl of rage turned her blood cold as they dashed forward, the oppressive fog clawing after them. "You'll regret this. You can't escape your fate." The corridor twisted around them, an ever-shifting maze designed to trap them. Lisa's heart raced even faster. Where to turn? Was safety just an illusion? With her grip tightened around Evan, they pushed through the terror. But as they ran, she felt it, a cold hand pressing against her back, a whisper against her ears sending ripples of horror down her spine. "You cannot outrun the shadows. They are part of you now." The glimmer of light wavered as they sprinted closer, but what awaited them beyond it? Hope or more darkness? In that moment, as dread washed over her again, one question loomed larger than the shadows themselves. When would the darkness finally claim them both? The moment her foot hit the flickering light, everything shifted. The shadows recoiled slightly, but the chill gripping Lisa's spine warned her that safety was an illusion. They stumbled into a room, the floor creaking under their weight, a stark contrast to the hollow echoes from the corridor. Walls adorned with tattered family portraits surrounded them, the faces twisted in silent screams. Eyes that once sparkled with life now stared blankly, hollowed by sadness and despair. Evan's grip on her tightened, fear washing over him like a tidal wave. "Mommy, I don't like this place." Her heart ached for his innocence, for the warmth of his laughter that now faded into the oppressive air. "I know, baby. We'll get out of here. We just have to keep moving. But the shadows slithered along the floor, crawling closer, overtaking the light, encircling them like wolves circling prey. The laughter echoed again, cruel and mocking, punctuating the silence. You think you can escape? You are home now, the figure cooed from the doorway, voice dripping with malice. Her breath caught as she turned, fear clawing at her chest. This isn't home. She screamed, but the shadows only laughed louder. Evan clutched her hand, shaking. Mommy, what do we do? She looked around frantically. The room was littered with remnants of a life once lived: old toys, clothes hanging from a dusty chair, a rusted rocking horse that swayed eerily. A hint of memory pierced through her panic. We need to find a way out, she whispered, urgency throbbing in her voice. As she scanned the room, her eyes landed on a small door set behind a curtain. It was cracked open just enough to reveal an inky blackness beyond, starkly different from the dim lights battling the shadows. Hope pierced through the terror. Look, Evan. That door. We can't give in to the dark. No. Evan whimpered, tears streaming down his cheeks. It wants us to go there. The chaos erupted again as the figure's laughter mixed with Evan's cries. Foolish humans. The door leads to the abyss. You cannot escape your fate. Lisa's heart pounded in her chest. The shadows had intensified, grasping at her legs, curling around her ankles, not just an obstruction but a suffocating force that sought to pull her under. Stay close. Trust me. She shouted, pulling Evan in the direction of the door, the echoes of despair clawing at their backs. Each step felt like wading through molasses while a black tide threatened to drown them. Lurching forward, she felt the phantom caress of the shadows tugging at her clothes, at her mind. With a burst of adrenaline, she reached for the door handle, trembling fingers gripping the cold metal, yet hesitating. What lay beyond could be the very thing that ruined them. But as she glanced at Evan, his eyes wide with terror, she knew she couldn't turn back now. On the count of 3, she said, trying to infuse courage into her voice. Ready? 1, 2, 3. They flung open the door, ready to plunge into the unknown. The swirling void before them seemed to breathe, a malevolent force pulling them toward the unfathomable. Just as they stepped into the void, a deafening scream erupted from the shadows behind them. You'll never escape. The world around them dissolved into blackness, and all at once, there was silence, deafening, unyielding silence. Lisa felt weightless, suspended in time. Fear coiling deep in her gut. Where had they gone? What had they entered? In the suffocating stillness, a faint whisper broke through the void. You are now part of the game, dear mother. Was this the end? Or just the beginning of something far worse? As darkness loomed larger, where would it take them next? Suddenly, as if an unseen hand grasped her heart, a cold pulse shot through Lisa. It felt like being submerged in icy water, breath snatched away. She clutched at Evan, but he was slipping away from her grasp, the darkness swirling hungrily around them. Evan! Don't let go. Her voice echoed, swallowed by the abyss. Panic clawed at her throat, she felt like they were drifting apart, difference in weightless gravity tugging between them. The shadows murmured like serpents, their whispers scraping against her skin. No one escapes the game, they hissed, voices intertwining, wrapping around her like a noose. You are here to play by our rules. Please, let us go. Lisa cried, each syllable a desperate plea, but her words dissipated in the air. Then the void shifted. A single flicker ignited above them, a faint, flickering light like a candle's dim glow in a vast black canyon. Follow the light, Mommy. Evan yelled, urgency flowing through his tiny voice. Lisa instinctively swung her body toward it, pulling Evan along with her. Hope illuminated within her chest, pushing back the creeping despair. But with each step, the shadows recoiled and then lunged forward, the whispers turning shrill, fraying the edges of her sanity. You think the light can save you? It will betray you. Courage surged through her limbs, and she fought against the gnawing panic. They darted toward the light, the swirling darkness growling behind them like a wounded beast. Rounding a corner, they stumbled into a chamber filled with walls of cracked mirrors, and she gasped. Each reflection revealed not just their physical forms but distorted visions, their faces twisted in terror, twisted in rage, yet all showed the same haunted look. A flash caught her eye, and she glimpsed Evan's reflection trapped in a shadowy version of himself, one that could not breach the surface. "Evan!" she shrieked, reaching for him. But as her fingers grazed the surface of a mirror, she recoiled in horror. The cold glass rippled like water, distorting her reflection further. It beckoned her, promising answers but only delivering dread. "Mommy, please. Let us go." His words shocked through the chamber, piercing the haze of fear. The shadows clawed around their feet, surging like a storm waiting to envelop them. She turned to the exit. But the hallway was gone. Instead, a new door materialized behind them, crafted from old wood, its grain twisting like veins, darkened with age and despair. "Are we trapped?" Evan's small voice wavered, his eyes reflecting pure terror. "No. We'll find a way through." She steadied her breath as she approached the ominous door. Metallic hinges creaked ominously as she turned the handle. It felt alive, pulling against her grip. A rush of fog poured into the chamber, thick and suffocating. In that moment, shadows surged forward, catching her arms, fingers curling around her wrists like the cold grip of death itself. They dragged her back, murmurs growing into a cacophony. "Stay. Stay with us forever. Mommy, please." Evan's scream cut through the chaos, a flash of her boy's face illuminating her determination. Finishing her thought, she ripped her arms away from the grasping shadows and swung the door wide, holding her breath. The light behind the door was blinding. She thrust them both through the threshold, feeling the weight of darkness clawing behind them, its angry screams reverberating through the space. They stumbled into a new room, a nursery, but not just any nursery. The furniture was draped in dust, remnants of fleeting joy warped into a haunting gloom. An old mobile hung from the ceiling, spinning slowly, its painted animals fading into gray. "Where are we?" Evan whispered, trembling beside her. Lisa scanned the room, heart racing. "I don't know." A laugh echoed in the stillness, soft, joyous, and yet somehow jarring. She turned toward the sound. There, in the shadows of the nursery, a figure appeared, a young girl with hollow eyes and a smile that twisted into something dark. "You're just in time for the final round." The door behind them slammed shut, sealing their fate. As the darkness wound like a snake preparing to strike. What game awaited them this time? And could they find a way to survive? Lisa's heart pounded in her chest. The girl's smile, wide and unsettling, seemed to stretch too far across her pale face, revealing a darkness that coiled in her eyes. "Who are you?" Lisa managed to choke out, stepping protectively in front of Evan. The air grew heavy, thick as syrup, and her instincts screamed that this girl was anything but innocent. "I'm your guide," the girl replied, her voice lilting with the kind of sweetness that sent shivers down Lisa's spine. "But you must play by the rules or else." She giggled, the sound echoing ominously off the nursery walls. Evan clung to Lisa's side, his small hand tightening around her wrist. "Mommy, I don't like her," he whispered, shadows creeping closer like a rising tide, threatening to engulf them both. The mobile above them began to spin faster, the painted animals twisting and distorting, while unseen eyes watched from the corners of the room. "Time for the game," the girl clapped her hands. "You have to find the truth before the clock strikes 3. "Find what truth?" Lisa demanded, desperate yet defiant. "The truth about yourselves." The girl spun in circles, the laughter morphing into something sinister, an echoing taunt. "You each have a secret and it's how you'll escape." With that, the floor trembled, and a large clock emerged from the wall, its hands ticking ominously, approaching doom. Evan's breath quickened, and Lisa felt the weight of a growing fear. "You won't escape. You'll reveal your darkest fears, or you'll remain here. Forever." No. Lisa shouted, anger sparking inside her. We're not playing your twisted game. She tried to push past the girl, but the shadows lunged forward, sealing their exits. We'll see how strong your love really is, Mommy. The girl's eyes sparkled with malevolent glee, the nursery lights flickered, illuminating faces in the mirrors lining the walls, other parents and children trapped in eternal torment. Each one reflected despair, anger, and desperation, every expression clawing at her consciousness. We need to find a way out. Lisa urged Evan, her throat constricting. Where's the door? No doors, the girl taunted, tapping her temple with a bony finger. It's all inside. You're both lost, haunted by your own secrets. Suddenly, the clock chimed, echoes vibrating through the room. Each chime pounded against Lisa's skull like a drum. One chime revealed the truth. 2 chimes the fear must confess. 3 chimes confront your shadows. Evan trembled beside her, eyes wide with sheer terror. What do we do, Mommy? The shadows swirled closer, dark tendrils whispering doubts and regrets. Lisa could feel them creeping into her mind, invading her thoughts. I can't let them take you. She gasped, adrenaline surging through her veins. You're already losing, the girl sang, her voice dripping with malice. What do you hide from him? The shadows surged, testing her resolve. Memories flashed before her eyes, twisted like the reflections, moments of regret, times she felt unworthy, love tainted by fear. The truth clung to her throat, choking her voice. Tell me, Mommy. Evan cried, fighting against her side. The girl's laughter echoed, slicing through Lisa's courage like a blade. Do you love him enough to face what you've buried? Time ticked forward, the clock was nearing 3. The darkness thickened, swirling around them, each pulse dragging her further down into despair. Show me, the girl ordered, pointing to Evan, a sinister challenge glimmering in her eyes. Mommy, I'm scared. Lisa closed her eyes for a heart-stopping moment. I love you, Evan. I always have, she whispered, her voice barely audible. But would that be enough? The nursery began to shake, the walls vibrating with a low growl. She felt it, the pull of her hidden truth, something darker and heavier than she had ever imagined. What awaited her on the other side of that confession? Would facing the truth save them or only bring them deeper into the game? The air crackled with tension, thickening like fog around Lisa and Evan. The clock's hands crept closer to 3, each tick a reminder of the impending doom. Shadows danced, their sinister forms shifting and writhing as if eager to consume them. Mommy, what do we do? Evan whimpered, his voice barely escaping the terror-infused silence. Stay close, Lisa replied, her voice trembling but determined. She searched the nursery for any sign of escape, but the walls seemed to fold inwards, constricting the space and crushing her hope. The girl's laughter echoed, twisting around them like a serpent. You can't hide from the truth, she declared, her eyes bright with an unsettling energy. Not for long. Enough. Lisa shouted, feeling the weight of the moment crash down on her. We will not bow to you. But beneath her bravado, a storm of fear raged. The girl merely tilted her head, amused by Lisa's defiance. Such a brave mommy, she cooed mockingly. But bravery only counts when you're faced with your fears. The truth awaits, buried in your shadows. You must dig deep to find it. The mobile above them rattled violently, the cheerful animals warping into grotesque figures, bright colors fading into muted grays. The eyes of the trapped souls in the mirrors flickered with mingled terror and a desperate plea for relief. Mommy. Evan pressed against her, clinging as if she were his only lifeline. He was so small, so innocent, and she felt the urgent need to shield him from this nightmare. Oh, but he needs to hear it, the girl sang, spinning in place, her voice grating against Lisa's sanity. He needs to know the secrets that hide behind your smile. Lisa's breath hitched. Their game demanded her darkest secret, a truth she'd buried deep, one that could shatter their fragile world. The clock struck 2, the heavy resonance shaking the room. I won't tell you anything. An overriding sense of protectiveness coursed through her, boiling over into anger. Let him go. You won't take him. Time is running out, the girl warned, her face darkening. You're all he has. Better think quickly, love. A shudder engulfed Lisa, the shadows seeping into her thoughts, freezing her. Memories flashed vividly, times she had yelled instead of comforting, moments of neglect when life became too overwhelming. Tears threatened, she felt raw, exposed. Mommy, please, Evan's voice broke through her haze. Please don't let her keep me. I'm here, she murmured, clasping his hand tighter. But there was a gnawing fear within her that made her question whether she was enough. Then confess. The girl shrieked. Confess and free him. Lisa struggled against a torrent of emotions, fighting back the tears. No. The word lit a fire in her chest, a moment of clarity. I love my son. I want him to be happy, but I can't be the perfect mother he deserves. Closer. The girl urged, excitement bubbling in her voice. Let the shadows show you. Before Lisa could respond, the clock chimed a sharp sound that echoed like the shattering of glass. Shadows leapt towards her like predators, enveloping them both in an icy embrace. Evan! She screamed, instinct kicking in. Gripping her son, she yanked him to her, shielding him against the encroaching darkness. Mommy! He cried, but the room began to spin, mirrors reflecting twisted images, a distorted version of their love and fear. Then with a ferocious crack, the nursery door appeared, a shimmering portal against the nightmarish backdrop. Was it real? Or another illusion produced by the girl? As the last chime rang out, a chilling whisper threaded through the air, creeping into her mind. Face the darkness or be consumed. Lisa's heart raced. Would she step through that door? Or confront the truth lurking behind her fears to save Evan from the malignant grasp of the girl? With one last glance at her son, she whispered, we have to choose, Evan. Are you ready? The realization sank in, heavy as lead. She might not escape without revealing the deepest shadows of her heart. Would love be enough to withstand the horrifying truths? The last echoes lingered ominously, slicing through the nursery air as they braced for what awaited them next. What secret would she sacrifice to find freedom for them both? The door shimmered, inviting yet ominous. Lisa held Evan tightly, his small body trembling against her. We can't stay here, Mom, he whispered, his eyes wide with terror. Please, let us just go. The girl giggled, a sound twisted with malice. You're running out of time, Lisa. What's behind that door? Freedom or a deeper trap? You'll only know if you dare to step through. As the clock tinked past the hour, the shadows pulsed against the walls, eager to hoard the light. Chills danced along Lisa's skin. What if that truth? What if it destroys us? Her voice faltered, doubt creeping in like ivy over stone. Mommy! Evan tugged at her sleeve, desperation tightening his small features. I want to go home. Home. The girl taunted, tilting her head. What a quaint notion. But where is home when your heart is haunted? The past has ways of twisting your memories. You can't escape its grasp. Lisa's mind churned. Memories, fading and dusty, lurked just beneath the surface. Regrets danced just out of reach, taunting her. She was made of these very shadows, woven tightly into her spirit. If she opened that door, would it expose everything? Would it swallow them whole? Mommy, what did you do? Evan's voice broke through. Her heart sank. He was too perceptive, just like his father. Nothing. Evan, I tried to be good. I tried to do right by you. But sometimes what? The girl sneered, taking a step forward, her eyes gleaming. Sometimes you just can't handle it. Your own insecurities weigh you down, don't they? The air thickened, almost suffocating. Lisa felt an intense heat rise within her, clashing with the encroaching cold. I've made mistakes. I've yelled instead of listening. Her voice quivered, as if uttering the words out loud made them more tangible, more threatening. But I love you, Evan. You're everything to me. Do you really believe that? The girl's laughter rolled like thunder, echoing off the walls. Stop it. Lisa screamed, the sound raw and primal. The shadows recoiled slightly, as though her defiance had made them hesitant for just a moment. Evan blinked up at her, tears pooling in his eyes. Mommy, don't let her take me. I don't want to lose you. Lisa's heart shattered a little more at his fear. I won't let her. I promise. But deep down, she felt the truth of the girl's taunt. Could she truly fight the darkness within herself? The minute hand ticked, loud and menacing. Time waits for no one, Lisa. Choose or lose. It's only a matter of seconds now. The door seemed to pulse with life as shadows darted around it, draping it in fear. With each tick, the walls drew closer. She closed her eyes, and for a brief moment, she envisioned their happy moments. Laughter lit the shadows for just long enough to see the truth hiding within. Maybe if I can unravel the past, I can find a way forward. With fierce resolve, she squeezed Evan's hand. We will face it together. The girl's expression morphed, a blend of surprise and rage. You think you can? You don't even know what you're hiding. Suddenly, the illusions cracked, revealing fleeting glimpses of her heart's hidden wounds, though their edges were frayed and faded. Was this the truth she needed to confront? Dread coiled tightly within her as she stood at the threshold. Okay, I will tell you, she whispered, the weight of her impending confession crashing over her. I'll tell you everything. Evan squeezed her hand. I'm here, Mom. You can do it. As she took a step forward, the shadows hissed, screeching at her vulnerability. Time held its breath. Would her confession break the curse or unleash something far worse? With one last look into Evan's trusting eyes, she stepped through the door and the nursery dissolved into a cacophony of darkness and despair. In the pitch black, she could only hear faint whispers, the girl's voice lingering ominously, you don't know how deep the truth runs. Welcome to the abyss. Lisa felt herself teetering on the edge of a profound revelation what awaited them when the truth was fully unearthed. But as shadows wrapped tightly around her, she knew this was only the beginning. Fear spiraled, and her heart raced. What horrifying secrets lay ahead? Would her love prove strong enough to combat the darkness? As Lisa stepped through the door, time and space twisted into a swirling vortex. For a moment, all sound faded, leaving only the rhythmic thump of her heartbeat. She clutched Evan tightly as they spiraled into the unknown, terrified yet resolute. Shadows writhed around them, fleeting silhouettes whispering vile secrets, but she silenced their venomous taunts with a fierce determination. I won't let you take him. She shouted into the void, her voice unwavering. In an instant, they crashed into a new reality, an expansive, dimly lit room lined with countless mirrors, reflecting endless versions of themselves, faces contorted with fear, anger, confusion. But this time, Lisa felt the shadows hesitate, as if recognizing the power of her defiance. She gazed into a mirror just ahead, capturing the truth buried within her heart, pain, guilt, love, and hope intertwined. Evan's small hand trembled in hers, pulling her attention back. Mommy, where are we? He asked, eyes wide with a mixture of terror and curiosity. We're breaking the cycle, baby, she whispered, the resolve swelling within her. We are finding the truth. But the girl reappeared, shadows swirling around her like dark tendrils, her eyes gleaming with malevolence. Such bravado. You think facing it will free you? Your love can't shield you from what lies beneath. Can't it? Lisa shot back, emboldened by Evan's presence beside her. It's the love for my son that has brought me here. I won't allow past mistakes to drag us under. The girl recoiled, the shadows quivering at Lisa's fierce declaration. You truly think love conquers all? How naive. She raised her hand dramatically, and the mirrors shimmered, revealing images of fragile joy now muddied by regret. Childhood arguments, frustrations boiling over, moments of isolation all clawing their way back to haunt them. Face it, Lisa. You blame yourself for every misstep. No. Lisa screamed, trembling as the shadows pressed closer. I made mistakes, yes, but being a mother is a journey. No one is perfect, especially not me. She tore her gaze from the mirrors and focused on the small figure standing beside her. Evan's face glistened with tears but also with love, unwavering. Mommy, I love you, he said softly, tenderly squeezing her hand, grounding her in this spiraling chaos. In that moment, clarity surged through her. She realized the truth wasn't just about her faults, it was about their bond, the love that had reframed her fears. I failed sometimes, but I choose to learn and grow. I choose you, Evan, every time. The shadows shrieked, a cacophony of anguish fading and flickering like dying embers. The girl faltered, confusion shadowing her face. Your love is powerful, she stammered, but her conviction wavered, the mirror reflections fracturing under the weight of Lisa's resolve. Mommy, I don't want to lose you, Evan whimpered again, but his voice now held confidence amidst the terror. Then let us face it together, Lisa urged. I won't hide anymore. I am ready to face the truth that has haunted us. The air thickened as the humid darkness coiled around them. Shadows lunged like predators, but Lisa's determination blazed brightly. She raised her voice, clear and steady. I've ignored my fears, but I won't surrender. I will not let you control us any longer. As her words pierced the oppressive gloom, the shadows howled, vibrating their anger through the room. Yet, a light flickered at the edge of the mirrors, brightening with each proclamation of truth. We will not be broken. We will not be consumed. The girl's smile faltered, replaced by genuine fear. You can't. This isn't how the game works. The mirrors shattered, each fracture splintering the haunting past. Lisa watched as old resentments dissolved into particles of light, memories of pain swept away by the sheer power of love. The shadows shrieked louder, echoing through the room, but they were losing their grip. Mommy, let us go. Evan shouted, tugging her hand toward the swirling light. Together. Lisa agreed, entwining their fingers as she pulled him closer. The warmth enveloped them. A protective barrier against the icy grasp of despair. With one final surge of strength, they dashed toward the light, embracing the chorus of hope and unity. The shadows recoiled, their screeches fading into the light, swallowed whole. In an instant, they stepped through the luminous portal, leaving the darkness tangled in its chaotic grip behind them. They found themselves in a sunlit meadow, flowers blooming vibrantly all around, a stark contrast to the nightmarish world they had escaped. A breath of fresh air filled their lungs, and with it, relief washed over them. Lisa knelt in the grass, embracing Evan, gratitude radiating through her, warmth flooding her heart. We did it. We're free. Tears streamed down her face, but they were tears of joy now. I knew we could do it. Evan laughed, cocooning her in his little arms. And in that moment, standing amidst the beauty of life, Lisa understood that love is not just a refuge but a powerful force capable of breaking chains. They had confronted their fears, emerged intact, and reclaimed the bright future awaiting them. She looked out at the horizon, heart swelling with hope for tomorrow, ready for whatever life had in store. They were together, standing hand in hand, ready to embrace a new beginning unshadowed by the past. As she kissed Evan's forehead, the sun cast its radiant light, illuminating all that lay ahead, a canvas of boundless possibility. They would live, love, and grow, carrying their lessons forward. Now, it's your turn. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that we have in store. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and spread the love. Flood the comment section with your reactions and theories about the ending. You never know what gems you might uncover. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Thank you for it. Let us keep this community growing.